This is Morgan Hazelwood, back again with more writing tips and writerly musings. Welcome to my final Worldcon 2019 notes, creative couples working together. Now, some people work with partners and some like to work with a romantic partner. But whether you're romantically involved or not, there are techniques that I'm going to go over that could work for you. At Worldcon 2019, Heidi Goody led the working couples of Peter Morwood and Diane Duane, plus Delia, Sherman, and Ellen Kushner in discussing how to maintain working and romantic relationships with the same person. Step 1, maintain separate offices. In rural Ireland, Duane's office is the living room and Morwood's is the second bedroom. When they're working on a project together, they stay in their own rooms and don't talk. When it's time to fraternize or collaborate, they meet in the kitchen. In New York City, Sherman and Kushner mostly write separately by hand, in their studios on opposite sides of the apartment. They left Boston because they were tired of being the most colorful couple in the room. And they like to take long walks and discuss character building, writing theory, or whatever they're working on right then. Now, both couples find it hard to stop talking work, but Sherman and Kushner find it helps to have other passions. Duane and Morwood's biggest interruptions are the neighbors' sheep. They're known to the neighbors as those Trekkies and are considered by the rest of their neighbors as boring because they don't raise sheep or horses. Next up, we asked the panelists how their writing partnerships began. On Morwood and Duane's honeymoon, her book was late, so they wrote it together. It helps that Duane is a big outliner, especially for screen. As she says, screenwriting is very formulaic. For Sherman and Kushner, a year or so after they moved in, they learned to negotiate through writing. But for them, it's the spirit of fun. It's like playing Barbies together. So, how do they share drafts and blend those portions? Now, some people consider their drafts sacred, while others see theirs as horrible piles of Duane never shows her rough draft to a single living human soul. The next draft is okay, though. Now, Morwood doesn't count how many drafts he goes through. As he says, I'm a professional. Sherman and Kushner typically have interwoven plot lines, with Kushner working on more social scenes while Sherman works on the more academic ones. When they started collaborating, Sherman had just graduated and had some scores to settle. When writing each other's characters, the other keeps the veto power. They do their best to keep personal ego out of the story, really only arguing over semicolons. Which, they have a point. Those are tricky. When it comes time to edit, Sherman reads aloud to Kushner her bits and the printouts, although Sherman is stronger on description while Kushner does dialogue. When they revise drafts, they overwrite each other, and 5 drafts in, it's so blended they can't tell one part from another. Morwood and Duane work together similarly, plus, as they say, they're both great literary mimics. They can imitate each other's styles pretty easily. Usually, one has veto power depending on their specialty. Duane's best at plotting and screenwriting, while Morwood has veto power on fight scenes and tactics. Just remember, when collaborating, there are competing needs for validation, love, and listen to my story. So, next question was, do they use music to collaborate to? Are they jamming to the same thing? No. Duane stopped listening to music. It started to interfere with her writing dialogue, but movies for her work fine as background. For me, not so much. Kushner used to listen to music, but it couldn't be in English or it had to be something she knew inside and out, which is kind of what I do when I'm writing, but not editing. Now she writes at home in silence. Morwood listens to tons of things on his Audible channel, but he turns it off when writing dialogue and enjoys having Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is a dictation program, play back his dialogue for him because hearing it aloud can help him with his editing process. Now, Sherman and Duane both like to write in cafes with that background chatter and gathering faces for characters. For Sherman, if she can't have that, she needs complete silence. When deadlines are piling up, Duane will go to a friend's flat in the middle of nowhere Switzerland for weeks, while Kushner will head off to a friend's house. For both of them, the change of location helps with productivity. There's no chores or partner around to distract, and they've made this trip, and so now they feel more committed to getting the words out. And then we ran out of time for the panel. So, collaboration can be a tricky beast. Have you worked on a collaborative project? What techniques work best for you? Have you ever worked with a romantic partner? Did it strain your relationship?
And that's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button and share it with all your friends. It goes a long way towards helping people find me. And I'll be back again next Monday with more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye-bye.